And Jennifer Withy in studio. If you have any questions, feel free to share them out. Let me know what you got going on today. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. It's Kickstart, and my name is Gardy. I'm excited. And we have some guests that are in studio. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then we're going to be talking and sharing a lot of really good information.
Good morning, Gardy. We are excited to be here. My name is Jennifer Withy, and from Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, and it's just a beautiful, sunshiny day this morning.
You're just saying that because yesterday was your birthday.
I know, and I'm older and wiser now.
Is that what it is?
I'm older and wiser. You'll catch up. You'll never catch me. See, you've got the detox record, but I'm always going to be older than you, dude. So
older, and I guess we can just go ahead and throw it out there, wiser.
Wiser.
Is that where you're going with this? Gardy, what do you think? You think that's possible?
I think you can catch up. If you can put your mind to it, you can do anything.
Wow. It's a race now. It's a race.
Well, I think I'm going to take my time.
No,
I'm going to take my time.
No, you're not. Yeah, you will. You'll be fine. I'm excited. So, yesterday I turned 49, and everybody's
Happy
all
birthday.
excited. So, and I'm like, everybody's like
49.
49. And
you're
my
like
dad's
one year away.
I know. But my dad even said it. He said, I'm just having trouble with the fact that my daughter's 50. I'm like, dude,
easy,
I got a year.
Easy.
I got a year. I said, you got a whole year to worry about that. But I, on the other hand, am super excited. I'm like, I've got 1 year. It's the countdown to the second half.
It is.
Right?
Yeah,
so
that's
for
right.
me, it's
Halftime.
countdown to the second half. So I'm like, hey, let's just do that. So
well, at the end of the day, I mean, you think about it, the average centenarian says the best years are between 65 and 95. So you really haven't even hit your prime.
we're not even there yet.
I mean, you still got,
That's awesome.
16 years before your prime
Before
hits.
I'm even worth anything.
I mean,
Can you imagine how
geez.
long it's going to take you?
I'm just telling you, I am definitely outside the range.
That's all right, but you'll have something to
Look
aspire
forward to and
right?
aspire to, and there's no doubt about it. And yes, we are excited at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, and there's just so many things happening behind the scenes that our fan base doesn't see, our patients don't see, but they can sure as heck feel it, can't they?
I think so. I mean, we've had some new people come into the clinic in the last couple of weeks, and they're like, we just like it here. We just like it here. We just want to.
We just want to hang out.
We didn't know you were here. I had a lady on Friday. She's like, I've already referred 5 people. Like, it's just so awesome in this building. And I'm like, I kind of like it in this building. I like it here.
Does anybody ever say, what's wrong with you guys?
Yeah, I know. We're like just so fired up, right? They're just like, I want whatever they're on. It's like, well, we've got exactly a plan for you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I used to say that if you could bottle up Chapa's energy and sell it, you could be rich. And the thing is that I mean, is that not true? But
That's
the
true.
reality is what he does on a daily basis to keep that energy up from a nutrition standpoint it's work, right? He's always working on something, and that's one of the fun things about it is that he doesn't see it as, oh, we're gonna arrive at health one day. We are working on health every day. And that's what we do.
I think one thing y'all shared is like, this should be normal. Feeling this way should be normal, but we're so used to having that be not normal that it's like, what's wrong with y'all?
We settled. We settled.
Okay.
People have settled for, I don't want to say mediocrity, but they've settled for mediocrity in their health because no one's got an answer. They're told, oh, well, you're getting old.
Yeah, that's the answer to everything.
I can't believe you're 50.
Well, what do you expect? What do you expect? You're like 65. Like, knee problems are part of being 65.
Well, and my mom already knows this is coming, so I hope you're listening because it's not because I'm picking on her. I am just excited. My mom goes to her sister's house and spends 4 days, and I go up there for my aunt's birthday, and so I know what they ate one day, and we hang out and had a great time, and it was fajita day and da-da-da-da, and and I was like, okay, no big deal. My mom happened to be leaving that same day, and we go home, and she didn't say anything about any problems that she is having, and because she wasn't having any problems, and then literally the next day, she wakes up with knee pain, and this was 2 months ago, and I've been working on this knee for 3, 4. She says every day. I think it's been more like 3 to 4 times a week, and the knee ain't better. I mean, and it's moving. It's like moving pain from her quads to her adductor muscles to her IT band to the hamstrings to her low back into her. It's like moving all around. Moving pain is always what?
Good.
is
always
lymphatic
good. Lymphatic pain.
You know, that means
It's
it's
moving
not.
out.
It's not an injury, right?
Yeah.
Something's
Okay.
moving, and so that's why it's good. You know, we don't want injuries. But I should have taken inventory right then. You know, but I didn't. I just kept working on it. Man, this is weird. Well, Sunday it hit me. Because I asked her, I said, Mom, what'd y'all do? Did y'all go hiking? Did y'all go in the pasture? Did you step in a pothole? What happened? Because she lives in the country. And she goes, no, I didn't do nothing. She blamed it on this rock back chair that kind of propped her legs up funny. And I'm like, okay, you know, sure. Well, I go, I just can't figure this out. But I always tell patients, if you stick with it long enough and you follow through with the program to the best of your ability, we, the puzzle solvers that we are at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, we're going to figure it out. And yesterday, this is what I said to my mom. I said, Mom, I know you said you didn't do anything when you're up in the country. I get it. You know, what you do in the country stays in the country, right?
Absolutely.
But you did do something. And she goes, well, of course I did something. You know, and I'm like, and I said, and what was it that you did? She goes, I don't know. You tell me. And I said, you ate something. You got into something. And she goes, well, good luck remembering that. You know, that's 2 months ago. I've slept since then. And I said, well, pray about it. Think about it. I said, you guys went and you had a burger, you had pizza, you did something. You had cheese dip, something. And as soon as I said cheese dip, she goes, a bowl of ice cream. And I go, aha! Aha!
I found it.
And then I go, okay, but wait. What if it wasn't just the ice cream? Because what is in ice cream?
Dairy.
And what else is in ice cream?
Sugar.
And what are those things good for in the body?
Nothing.
Good job, Willie. I'm so proud of you. I mean, this is like a game show today. This is great.
It's like it feels good on your taste buds and up here just for a little bit, and then it's gone.
That's right. Nothing below your taste buds want it, and that's for sure true. And so what happened is I got thinking about this, and you know, my aunt, she's a smoker. Well, for every 5 cigarettes that is smoked, a passive smoker picks up 1. It's a 5-to-1 ratio. Well, when you mix sugar, a poison. When you mix dairy, a mucus former and a lymphatic clogger with chemicals, the liver is bound to have some problems.
It's like stirring the pot,
It's
like mixing it all up.
Yeah,
and
we're building a clogged highway. And guess what? And this is what really baffles my brain. I kept watching all this lymphatic pain move around in her leg, but her problem was really in the knee. When I was working on it, I found it in the thigh, in the muscles. But her pain was in the knee. Guess what the number 1 knee organ relationship is? The liver.
Really?
Imagine
that. The liver's the giver. And it always goes to the knees. And I go, dang it, man. Like,
How'd you miss that?
How did I miss it? It was like blaring as a neon sign right in my face. But again, when, you know, and this is why working on family is tough.
Isn't that, though, when you talk about the liver, right? So everybody says, oh, you wake up in the middle of the night to pee. What do you expect? You're 65. You do this as you get older. Your knee pain as you get older. And all of those are your check engine lights for the liver. Right?
Yes.
So you go, oh, well, we keep having liver check engine lights. We keep ignoring them. And so we keep fixing the check engine lights.
And then the blood pressure goes up because something else breaks down.
Well, of course, because it's got to go somewhere.
Yes, right.
The body's going to look for that alternate exit channel. It's going to look for that alternate solution because it's smart. It doesn't have one backup plan. It doesn't have one backup plan. If it had one backup plan, we wouldn't make it very long. But there's always a backup to a backup to a backup. How can the body make this? And it's amazing to think of such a gracious God that would give us
backup plans,
knowing
that we're going to screw it up.
That we were going to screw it up anyway, because He loved us that much. He wanted us that much. He wanted us, to live well and be well, and He wanted us to be able to deal with the things that come at us in this world. But here we are. Here we are. We've got this, and we sometimes we don't appreciate it. We don't appreciate the check engine light from the knee. Dang it. I don't want the knee pain. I don't want this. I don't want that. I don't want this.
And we focus on the check engine light instead of appreciating the process that is necessary to go through, that it's systemic, that it's nutritional. What do we always say? All life starts and stops Where?
At the cellular
level.
Look at, we're good. This is like high five time.
I'm
I just
telling
made
you.
that up just now.
Just now?
Of course he did.
Of course
That's
he
right.
did.
He's
He's
revelations.
been trying to teach us that for like
I know.
years now.
How long
and
we been on the show?
Slowly catching on.
Y'all are doing great.
We're glad that you're an excellent teacher, Gardy,
And yet you're patient.
That's
You're
right.
Patient,
Very
and that
patient.
You'll listen to us. And I think that's one of those things with nutrition and with health and with lifestyle changes is, hey, we gotta hear it more than once.
More than
Right?
once.
Oh yeah, multiple times.
I mean, sometimes you get the same answer from us over and over and over, and you think we're mad at you. We're not mad.
Yeah.
Like we're happy to tell you over and over and over because somebody had to tell me over and over and over.
And it does. And it just takes time to integrate some of the changes. I mean, we're working on building meal plans and food options for people right now, and we're realizing, well, if we just give somebody a grocery list, that still doesn't help them prepare that.
Yeah, some people it works great. All they need is a grocery list, but for others that's not enough. And so we're back behind the scenes building some of those things, constantly changing, evolving, so that we can bring you something that'll make it easier for you.
A better
to
solution.
make that a better solution, a better way to do it, and to navigate it because, your challenges aren't my challenges. I had a doctor one time when I took my special needs daughter. She was having lung problems. She actually had a scoliosis. She had a 70-degree curve in her back, which for your 74 degrees, I think is where it got. So for your chiropractor friends, that's kind of a nightmare. But anyway, so it had started to affect her lungs, and now it was affecting her heart. And she's having all these problems because of this scoliosis. And this doctor gave me this protocol that was a mile long. I mean, it was a mile long. And I went home and I thought, okay, we'll do this, right? Because I'm going to listen. I'm going to be a good mom and a good patient, and we're going to get this done. Well, it took hours out of my day, and I had other children and laundry to do and dishes to wash and
A house to run.
And everything else. And the closer it got to that follow-up visit, I thought, this is, like, this isn't going. Like, I finally gave up. I was like, I can't do it. I just can't do it. And I got to that doctor's office, and this is the only doctor in the world that I've ever been to, that, outside of Living Well, that said, oh, we'll just do it a different way. Right? And that's sometimes what we have to do is, what's the different way? And what worked amazing for me may not work amazing for the next guy, and for the next guy, and for the next guy. And it may take going around a different side of the mountain to get there. And we have to be willing to go those different directions. And it's not a me against you. It's just how can we find a way around this mountain
Together.
How can I guide you around this mountain in a way that you can get there? Because I assure you can get there. The whole concept of this whole, I'm tired, I'm worn out, part of the reason I even went to work is because every mom I ever talked to, if you ask moms, how are you doing? Do you know the answer they give you, Gardy?
Probably tired.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired. Why is that the answer every day? I mean, I get it that it's the answer some days. Some days you're just tired. You're chasing 2-year-olds. Some days you're just tired.
Why do you think
that
that
the answer
is?
every day?
It's hard work.
Is it?
I think so.
But aren't we designed to work? I mean, we talk about this.
The way I'm set up, no, I'm not. I'm just kidding.
I mean,
see, we haven't arrived where Gardy is yet. We're getting there.
We'll get there.
We're getting there.
We'll get there. And that's the thing. But we are designed to work, but we don't have any energy. It's, what we don't. The whole idea, we think about, oh my gosh, if I had to plow the fields all day long, I could not be out in the sun and do that all day long. And, that's.
But so there's got to be something, though, right? If energy is the fundamental request. I mean, when we start, as I'm just listening to the story unfold, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, yeah, like energy is the thing that a lot of people want more of. Everybody goes, I would love to have more energy. Well, I think a better question we should be asking, and there's a bunch of better questions we could be asking, what are you going to do if I give you more energy? Are you going to keep chasing your tail? Are you going to keep, doing things that are burning your midnight oil? Are you going to keep, wearing yourself down faster and faster? because I keep, giving you more of what you think it is you need. Why don't we go, what do we always tell patients when we put them on an adrenal protocol, and we tell them, what do we expect?
I expect you to start feeling better.
Okay, and what is the first thing a person does when they start feeling better?
Stop taking the supplements.
Well, that's true.
Wait. Before that,
there's one step they do before that, and this is what really gets all the chronic fatigue patients in a bind. Okay, and so
they finally feel better.
They finally feel better. So they felt
and
like
not even
junk.
a lot better, a little better,
20%.
Because if you feel
think about it,
tanked out,
energy goes up, right?
Yeah.
Your brain turns on. Immediately, you've been burned out, you've been tired, and you've been mind drained for months, years, and all of a sudden I give you more gusto. What are you going to do?
Probably do something I couldn't do before.
Yes.
Exactly.
And what do you typically do? Go clean the garage. You go clean your closet. You go paint a room. You go do something.
That's way over that 10%.
Yeah.
You got 10% more energy,
and you took
25. 20. Right?
And then what happens is the patient burns out. And
well,
then
they say it didn't work.
Well,
right? Because they don't see that they got that energy from what we were doing, and they go, oh,
perception's
well,
reality.
Now, like I did go paint the room or clean the garage or clean out the closet or whatever whatever that activity, even if it was a fun activity, had them. Did the birthday party for my kid, whatever that thing is, whatever that thing was. And now it's like, oh, and then what do they feel like afterwards? They feel wiped out.
Burnt out again.
And they go, yeah, it didn't work for me.
And so what we
work.
What we always teach our patients is, hey, listen, when we give you this gusto of energy, because we expect it, it's almost like we demand it. And when we can control symptoms at a level like that, we also follow it up with a statement like this.
Don't go clean the garage.
That's right.
Don't go clean the garage. You need to give your body time to rest and repair. We're giving your body the tools to work inside, not outside yet.
That's
You're
right.
not ready for outside yet.
Outside productivity. You got to give your body the energy to heal.
Because that takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of nutrients for the healing to take place inside. And it takes time, right?
And we don't appreciate that. And I think that's what we've got to really educate people around, is that it does take time to pull you out of the rut. You've got to give your body adult time frames to heal from the abuse that you put through the last decade, the last 20 years, the last 30 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some of these folks, we got a gentleman who has beat 2 different types of cancers. He is his mind is going bye-bye. His body is withering away. He's got blood in his urine. His system is malfunctioning. He's been in, I think, his 3rd visit. And his daughter comes in and says, oh, yeah, everybody's saying how much better his brain is and how much more alert he is and how much more functional he is and how much more conversation he's having and how many more ideas he's having and da-da-da. He's like, turn it back on. The brain's turning on. And it's because we're deburdening the body and lifting the body, and he doesn't even realize what depth of change is happening in his tissues. And so we have to kind of, as he gets better and his actually physical output energy starts rising, we're going to have to slow that boy down. Because he's a bull in a china closet. He's a serial entrepreneur. Like that dude, he only reason he's slowed down is because life slowed him down. Right? Because he didn't maintenance the body. He didn't change those oil filters. He didn't rotate those tires, And so it's a process that we get ourselves in, and we have to be willing to just give the body the energy. So if I give you more energy, because that's what you need and want, what are you going to do with it? You've got to be willing to give your body time to heal before you go burn it off. Because otherwise, it will take us 6 times, 10 times longer, or heaven forbid, never, because you quit because you think the program doesn't work, right? And so there's a message there. It's time in the saddle. And we teach always, when we're on the radio, when we're on the podcast, I've got patients coming in now telling me, man, I binge watched, listened to 5 of your podcasts, and on my way to Dallas and my way back. I got another guy came in yesterday. He goes, man, I started listening to your podcast, and you were talking about how, doctors don't run full blood panels, and you do. I want your blood panel. Take me through what you're doing on that. And I take them through it. Then I show them. I was at a family function the other day, and my wife and my mother-in-law come say, hey, you got to work on, Aunt so-and-so. She's messed up. She's having a real rough time. Okay, great. Okay. I go, they drag her to me. And you
ever feel like Jesus? That reminds me of like Jesus, and you're like, woman, it's not my time. Call on Monday morning.
That's right. Call on Monday morning. 281-554-8600. Justlivewell.com. So she comes to me, and I'm like, well, hey, tell me what's going on. She goes, seriously, I don't need anything. I'm good. Da da da. And you can look in her eyes. She's glassed over. I mean, you can tell something's up, right? And she pulls out. And I said, well, we start asking her some questions and seeing where she's at, and just making casual conversation, because obviously they put her in an awkward spot. I didn't want her to feel awkward, and I didn't want to be a jerk and say, Monday morning. You know what I mean? And so I just
trying not to get kicked out of the family. Huh?
Well, yeah, exactly. It's always a good thing. Well, and then what winds up happening is I say, she has blood work. And I said, man, bring me your blood work. I'll teach you how I read blood work. Because doctors don't take patients through their blood work. They just say, yeah, everything looks fine, or you don't got cancer. You don't have obvious signs. They don't understand the rudimentary fundamentals of what the blood work can really tell me, right? It can tell me so many wonderful, great things. And so I start looking at the blood work, and I start hearing her history. She's got thyroid glitches. She's got high thyroid peroxidase, thyroid globulin antibodies. She's got high thyroid stimulated immunoglobulins, which is another newer, autoimmune test for the thyroid that I'm seeing more of. And so the technology is advancing in how we study thyroid and research thyroid, but we don't know what to do with it when it shows up. And then they're wanting to do, well, it's hyperthyroid, so they're going to blow up her thyroid with radioactive iodine, and I'm like, no. I said, it's called radioactive iodine. Do you know what radioactive, like when you're presented with a radioactive substance, do you know what we're supposed to do?
Run.
Yes. Run with full speed. Like the Bible talks about the adulterous woman. 180 degrees, run.
I just think, like, what if, radioactive spider? What if you get superpowers?
Well, there is that, but I think that's the
You're like, that's a comic book.
That's
Guardian.
a comic book. Yeah. And don't get me wrong,
Okay.
I'm looking for that special spider too. I want superpowers. I want to be able to scale walls. My son and I talk about that from time to time. Not to get off on a derailed tangent, but what would your favorite superpower be? To fly, to walk on water?
Yeah.
And and I'm like, probably be like Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's that's a good choice.
I mean, because you can swing, you can climb, you can sit up on top of a building in a weird yoga pose.
Freakishly strong, especially for his size.
Yeah, I mean, the dude has stopped trains like Superman. You know what I mean?
Has a really good, movie series and stuff. But yeah,
he's got a
following.
And a following.
Great
yeah.
following.
I mean, we're trying to get there. We're building superheroes.
We'll be
the
Spider-Man of
the nutritional world.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
we're going to be the superhero.
It's really fascinating to me because by the end of it, her husband is there, she's there, and I'm going through her blood work, and I'm just showing her, boom, 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 showing her where she's got immune challenges. I'm showing her where she's got borderline, anemic factors.
Right.
And didn't we just go to a seminar and we learned all kinds of cool stuff about anemia?
Yeah, we had a great seminar learning about anemia and how it's one of the iron deficiencies are one of the risk factors for COVID outcomes, right? Mm-hmm. So we're in this seminar and we're learning about this, and they pop it up on the screen, and being that I'm in graduate school now, I'm like recognizing what a peer-reviewed
really smart
journal looks like.
Graduate school.
Also, yeah,
that's fancy.
I know. One day maybe I'll be a doctor, but until then.
One day maybe I'll be in graduate school. I just have a doctorate. I think graduate school sounds cooler.
They're both cool.
Okay, cool.
So they flash this up on the screen, right? And I'm like, that's a meta-analysis. Well, if you know anything about peer-reviewed work, in order to have a meta-analysis, what do you think that means, Gardy?
I don't know.
Meta.
What do you think that means, Cardi?
Big.
Yeah, there you go. Big. That it actually means that there are multiple studies. It means that they've looked at multiple studies before they've put this study out. They're basically saying, hey, there's this whole body of research out there, and nobody has looked to see how they are related. Okay, so meta-analysis comes up, and the meta-analysis, I'm like, oh, that's kind of a big study. It's about COVID. How do you have a meta-analysis about COVID? This thing's only 19 months old. That's pretty quick. Well, better than that. The date is August 2020. I'm like, how do you have a meta-analysis?
In the middle of COVID.
At the beginning of COVID. I was like, what is that? And it's about anemia. 189 case studies. 57,000 patients, or 189 studies done, 57,000 patients involved combined in these 189 studies. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, what? That's a lot of information. That's a lot of people. And that was 2020. Like, we're almost to 2022.
So
that's a long time ago.
It was showing iron deficiency.
So it's showing iron deficiency. And the result of that study, this is what drives us bonkers, right? The result of that study is anemia is a good marker for whether or not somebody's going to have a good outcome with COVID. And I'm thinking,
say that again.
What? It's just a good marker on whether or not people are going to have a good outcome for COVID. And I was like,
Iron.
Who's heard that? None of us have heard that. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, no. It's not a good marker of outcomes. It's a good marker of what you needed to do last year.
That's right. In preparation.
It's a good marker of how we get ready.
So wait, let me stop you real quick. What if it's not like, so when they run these blood panels, you know how often they just run the complete metabolic panel. It doesn't. So they look at your these 6 other markers, and they don't look at. Iron is okay, and those other markers are slightly out of range, right?
Well,
and then they never run the gas tank, the ferritin, to really look. And so,
but it's more than that, though. It's that from a medical perspective, there's a normal range, and that includes the high end of normal and the low end of normal.
For who?
For some average person that
No. For sick people. Sick people go get blood work. Sick people are who are going. So it's a normal high and a normal low for sick people.
So
what
about for all these people that are mysteriously having trouble? Well, it's because nobody taught them to evaluate themselves.
And so now it's here, and it's like high end of normal, low end of normal, and there's not just. I mean, there's the gas tank, there's the ferritin, but then there's all these other markers that we look at it and we go, this is kind of high end of normal, low end of normal. And we look at all that and we go, there's a pattern here. There's a pattern here. Your tank's not so low, maybe, that you have full-blown anemia. That's a disease that a medical professional could medicate for, but you're nutritionally deficient. And that nutritional deficiency is going to get worse when the system's taxed. So COVID's going to tax the system. Flu's going to tax the system. Strep's going to tax the system. And here we are with these things that are taxing our system.
COVID? I thought COVID cured it all.
No, sir. I don't know. Were we going there? Well, let's ask Gardy. Gardy?
He's like, I don't know.
I'm just here.
He's like, I'm
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. We're back to Spider-Man.
The radioactive spider.
The radioactive Spider-Man. And now we
haven't even talked about gamma rays with Incredible Hulk. I mean, there's all kinds of things we can take.
Things can
it's
evolve
funny, though,
to superheroes.
It is funny, really quick, just so that everybody knows that even at these wonderful seminars, we talk about superheroes. Take a quick glance at this glial priming, the Bruce Banner of the central nervous system.
Ooh, let me see.
You just brought him up, the bottom one.
I did. The
Incredible Hulk. The Incredible Hulk is right there. You called him
Bruce
out.
Bruce Banner, and there's a picture there too.
Jumped right off of your paper.
I mean, were you cheating off my notes?
I was not.
I mean,
we're just in sync.
He just wants to. That's right. It's all about the superheroes today.
Awesome.
Well, you're the superhero. I mean, you're
gonna...
almost superhero status. Maybe it's like 50's that superhero status.
You think?
I don't know. We'll find out in a year.
Do I have to watch the movies?
No. You don't. We don't have time for that. We're busy.
Have time for that.
We got to read stuff. You're in graduate school.
Yeah, we don't get to do all that. Anyway, All right, so we're looking back at that whole anemia conversation and going, so what does anemia have to do with a respiratory virus? That's the question, right?
That should be a good question, I think. If it is a mega study, a big study,
meta-analysis,
at the beginning of COVID, it was almost like this is a predictor of how your immune system is going to respond. So tell us, how does it?
So your iron is basically your oxygen carrying capacity in the blood, whether or not the body's going to be able to get oxygen into your tissues, right?
Okay.
And so if you don't have, if you got all these kids that we need to take to school and we have no buses,
We're in trouble.
right? Okay, well, now
They're staying home.
They're staying home, right?
Mhm.
You know, I mean, so now we don't have a bus to get the kids to school. So if I don't have the bus to get the oxygen to the tissues, it doesn't matter. I can put all the oxygen I need in. I could just keep pushing oxygen. And what am I pushing? Death, because they don't have anything for the body to carry it into the tissues. And so we just looked at that and we go, like, we've heard people talking about vitamin D, like, as a predictor of outcomes, but we haven't even, that's just another piece. It's another nugget. It's another nutritional deficiency that's aiding and abetting this virus to make it harder for us to live better, feel better, get through it. And so this is where we want to do. We want to help people to find, hey, are you just, like, you're not deficient to the point of a disease. You're deficient to the point of needing to be fed better.
Or what we call dis-ease. You know what I mean? Slightly out of balance. And this is the challenge. We were talking the other day when we said, what if we only could run one panel of blood, what would it be? And we're trying to, prioritize the panel. Well, I mean, we could make a case that the CBC with differential is the primary. She just made a case and backed it up with a 2020 study that we best be looking at the complete metabolic panel. And we better be looking also at the ferritin, the iron gas tank of the complete metabolic panel. We also better be looking at the vitamin D. Well, now we've got too many panels because we had to only pick one. What part of the watch tells time?
I'm going to go with the whole watch.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Because and this is where I believe Western medicine has really taken a turn for the wrong, is they isolated the watch and they started analyzing
into all its little
the
component
gears
parts,
or the little hands or the dials or the stuff that I don't even know what's in there.
Which, by the way, is amazing. When
It
you
is.
think about how many little, the
Working
watch.
parts.
Okay, so this is awesome. So this morning, my son, we're rushing off to get them to their homeschool co-op this morning, and my son sees this tiny little moth. He's less than a centimeter. And I'll have to post this afterwards, but it's this little tiny little moth. It's less than a centimeter. It's on the outside of the window, and he goes to take a picture of it, and it's blurry. And he goes to take a picture again, and it's blurry. And he shows it, and I was like, I know we're late. Just do it. Just do it. Take the picture. I want you to see it.
Click, click, got it.
Right?
Famous Jim Rohn.
Jim Rohn. All right. And so I said, I just go ahead, take the picture. We'll wait. And he keeps going. He keeps going. And he goes, but the detail, right? That's God. It's the detail. It's all there. It's a centimeter in size, and the detail's there. And there's so much detail.
Detail.
And so
God
we
cares even about
appreciate
that
all
little
of the
thing.
details that they're all going into.
Yes.
But we can't get bogged down in the details and forget that there's a whole body
That's right.
to take care of. We've got
That's
this
important.
whole body to take care of, and we're bogged down in the details. So on the one hand, I have all these tiny little details. We are like, you guys just don't know. Like, we research things to death. Like, we have so much fun researching, getting bogged down in the details of things, only to remind ourselves, come back out of the details and get back to the big picture, because we can't focus on the liver. If I take care of your liver and I forget your lymphatic system and forget your bowels,
That's
and
TREBLE, trouble.
You're going to stay in the same trouble, even if that doggone liver was your number one issue. Even if your hormonal system is the number one issue, if you don't have all those other channels open, if you don't have the body working all together as this beautiful, harmonious picture, you're still going to be in trouble. So we want to understand the details enough, but not get stuck down in there. And that's what happens, right? That's the whole shiny penny syndrome. Like, oh, this is going to be the answer that's going to cure everything for us. Well, no, it's just a piece.
It's a piece.
And now I understand this piece better. Guess what? If I have not been paying attention, there's a piece missing. I mean, have you ever finished a jigsaw puzzle?
And had a piece missing.
Like, it's every time. It could be a brand new puzzle at my house. I don't even understand it.
There's a piece missing.
Well, I do have a dog that eats puzzle pieces.
There you go.
So we blame her every time. But still.
But you blame the last dog to eat all your puzzle pieces.
Dogs eat puzzle pieces. That's what they do.
Fair enough.
And they eat chicken bones, and they eat whatever else you put on the floor, right? And so you get that and that missing piece. So sometimes we get really excited about about finding a missing piece because we find them. We're constantly searching for them. I think last time we were here, we talked about iodine, a missing piece for some people. It's a missing piece. Can't leave that one out. Can't leave that one out. I do an iodine cleanse and a liver cleanse and a yeast cleanse and
hey, by the way, do you know one cool thing I just saw about iodine is it gets rid of mucus that people have. You know, drainage down the back of the throat, clogged up sinuses.
So some of us need to take more.
Yeah. And so what is it? I think iodine is also a endocrine shield. It protects the endocrine axis, your pituitary, your thyroid, your adrenals, your gonadal system, your sex organs, from metals, chemicals, and sludge that is lurking in the shadows from these pathogens, these stealth pathogens. And I mean, iodine is just a phenomenal tool that is underutilized. And, you know, some people go, oh, it's just hyped up. You know, Dr. Bruce, he just hyped it up. You know, well, look, he got excited about a puzzle piece because it is a puzzle piece. It is a key ingredient in the system. And that there was I still think today, where we are deficient in some of these puzzle pieces.
Right.
So in a part of being puzzle solvers and taking patients from point A to point B is appreciating, one, technology, the ability to analyze to the nth. Also the ability to step back and using good common sense and saying, all right. We get excited about this, but let's not forget, you still need vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acids. You still got to cut back on the very thing that you even put in your little meme here, Gardy. You don't even realize how wise you are, young friend. Is you've got all these bugs. He's got bugs. You know what that one is right there? That is a juice box. Because they're down there eating juice boxes. Because that's what we're feeding them, right?
Right.
It's brilliant. I don't know if he did that on purpose or just, God inspired. But he's just brilliant. He's brilliant.
Superhero.
And he's a superhero.
Spider-Man.
He's already reading my mind.
I was just trying to mix it up.
Yeah.
It's green.
Wicked juice box, And
see who's paying attention.
And
Dr.
Right.
Chapa,
He's paying attention. He's on it.
So,
and I just go to that idea that, like, iodine is a critical piece in protecting, activating, cleansing. I mean, it's a halogen. It's on the far right side of the periodic table of elements. It has a strong ability to take what it wants and to displace things that it wants to in the system. And so if we lack it, then things are going to falter and fall apart. I mean,
and I think you think, okay, I just need iodine. We think, how many milligrams, blah, blah, blah. We think those kinds of things because that's kind of what we've been taught, thinking, how much are we supposed to have of these nutrients? And we think about it. I mean, we forget how many, you go back into the detail. How many cells are in the body, right? And there's so many cells, and every cell needs it. Not just, we like to think about, my thyroid needs iodine. No, every cell in your body needs iodine.
It's really interesting. I'm sitting here listening to you. Me, you and Molly, we went to these. We just got jacked up on seminars this past month, didn't we? I mean, we just that was what we needed, and it seemingly catalyst us into, I don't know, like the sixth dimension. Where are we at right now? I mean, I think there's a vortex that's got us sucked up in the air somewhere. But Molly sent me an article the other day, and it was referencing in the 1980s a depletion effect. And the depletion effect, so there's something that we are dealing with every day, every one of us, that is robbing our body of iron. And I'm sitting here going through this panel of notes, a different seminar than you're looking at, and I'm sitting here just seeing a trend. I mean, I've just shuffled through, I don't know, 60, 80 pages of documents, and I'm seeing a pattern. I already passed the iron conversation. So these guys are talking about the impacts of iron on the body, the lifeblood. I just passed the essential fatty acid breakdown model, the neural inflammation, your POTS, your neural dysautonomia. You've got all these different types of things going on. You've got the essential fatty acid breakdown. Something in our body is disrupting iron. It's disrupting the essential fatty acid base. And remember, every cell in your body has a layer of phospholipids, a essential fatty acid bilayer. And it's what
determines what minerals are going in that cell and coming out. And what waste is coming out, right?
And it's almost like your skin. It protects you from the external elements, right? It's got so many functions. And if that thing starts to degenerate, trouble, 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 trouble. Well, I just landed in the section where we're discussing magnesium. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that document from the 1980s was talking about how this particular mystery substance that our bodies are dealing with day in and day out is robbing your body of magnesium. And now we wonder why people have joint pain. They have slow, sluggish bowels, the musculature, the heart. Magnesium has, in some people's mind, is the most important mineral. I'm not sure. Calcium, magnesium are still like, I'm still on the calcium, magnesium, not magnesium, calcium train. But I'm listening. I'm watching and looking at the trends and the patterns from the past, and I'm going, wowza. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh my goodness, like what is it in our bodies that is robbing the body of iron? Causing the anemias, causing the lifeblood to be starving of oxygen? What's causing the cellular degeneration? What's causing this cellular bisphosphonate layer to break down and causing inflammational fire to burn up and acidify your body and breed disease? You get that? What's causing the magnesium to be, being depleted so that now the muscles are like two sticks rubbing together and catching on fire and driving another realm of neural inflammation, musculoskeletal inflammation, endocrine hormonal inflammation, immunological inflammation? What is it that's underlying?
If I had to say, I would say it's nutrition, that we're not eating we're not refueling our body or getting those things that it needs.
Could be nutritional deficiencies. I like where you're going. What else? What else could it be?
Toxicity, things that we're ingesting that we shouldn't be ingesting.
Okay.
Things that we're being exposed to.
All right.
You're looking at your chemicals, your metals, all of those kinds of things. You're looking for your foods that you're putting in, your fake foods that you're putting in that are toxicity. You're talking about your sugar. Yeah.
I think really what it boils down to is we're feeding something in our body that is growing, and it's and as it's growing and becoming more abundant. See, the Bible says that we are to subdue the creepy, crawly things. And interestingly, the substance that robs the body the fastest of iron, that robs the body of the matrices, the ability to hold that extracellular bisphospholipids layer together, and this magnesium is yeast. Sugar is feeding it. The sugar's feeding it. And then you stack chemicals in there, and what do we know about yeast?
The yeast are kind of the cleanup crew.
Yeah.
So
they suck up all the chemicals. So it's almost like now your body's employed them to work. If you're going to live here, you're going to earn your keep. The problem is they become very disruptive house guests, right? And then nutritional deficiencies come in because Jennifer said we're eating fake food. And then you said we're depleted.
And then the yeast is going to eat
Even all the more.
They need their nutrients.
Well, I think
so we got to share, right?
Now they just took over my master bedroom. Wait a second.
Yeah.
I pay the bills here. Hello, and you got me
I'll
living
have the game room too.
and they're going to take my game room. They're going to take.
Well, maybe that's the better analogy, right? They take the game room. They take the fun. The bugs take the
energy
away.
They
take the energy away.
The mental clarity, the creative thought, the gusto, the vim, vigor, and vip.
Right? And so all of those bugs that we're supposed to subdue they're creating their own little environment and haven for life and crazy. And here we are just
back to energy.
And we're back to
cellular respiration, the mitochondria. It just popped up on my page. I thought I had to incorporate it.
So you wanted mitochondria?
Yeah, and we had to just jump over there.
It's a big word. What is the mitochondria? Since you're so good with big words here.
I don't know. Where's it in my notes? No. Or Gardy, do you remember from biology what the mitochondria is?
No, I do not. I just sort of like some
biology
plants or something.
It's not even. Biology was so far back there. Like,
it's like
kind of like when I went to graduate school, and they're like,
I can even see it. I could draw you a mitochondria right now.
Yeah, like some of you people know that I have a geology degree. We don't have mitochondria in our geology
She's a
degree.
mineral specialist.
So they say. So I went to go apply to graduate school, and they go, so where's your live sciences?
Because she was in the mineral.
I was in the dead sciences, which is
sciences.
fine. I really love rocks, and I'm telling you, those rocks never talk back.
Well, yeah.
So
there's that.
What is the mitochondria?
It is the energy pump of the cell. It drives everything. It produces this cool stuff called adenosine triphosphate. It's energy money.
ATP.
It's energy money. Well, what happens when you deplete the bank of money?
Eventually you just don't have no more.
You don't got no more.
And the thing is that
you start writing checks your body can't cash.
You know what?
The
body.
You got to pay back in interest.
That's right.
Right, but you know what happens is that the body
is the interest.
We keep taking out debt. If you keep getting into more and more debt, what eventually happens?
You go bankrupt.
The bank goes, I ain't giving you no more. Right now they'll give you a little more, a little more, a little more, a little more. They'll give it to you till you're in so much debt, and then all of a sudden, one day you wake up and you have a case of the suddenlies. Suddenly,
life don't work for me no more.
I can't get up. Suddenly, I have no energy. Suddenly, my knees hurt. Suddenly. I've been doing the same thing for 55 years, and suddenly this happens. So it can't be what I'm doing.
And it says right here, the mitochondria are responsible for ATP production. Damage to the mitochondria can lead to death of the cell, loss of neural tone. That's brain function, by the way. Damage to the cell can release mitochondrial contents that can increase free radicals. That's inflammation. That's fire, a.k.a. brain fatigue. There's that word again we just started with. Coming right back, full circle. Energy, no energy for the brain. The body's looking, I need. And the mitochondrial damage just finally gets to a point where it's done. It can't. The metaphoric straw broke the camel's back. And what shows? The symptom, the disease, the dis-ease, the diagnosis.
Well, I think so many of those little symptoms get ignored. We just ignore them because we can live with it. I can live with that. I can live with that until it really is full-blown disease. It really is something that's hard. What do you always tell me? Disease is hard to find
in the beginning, but easy to fix.
And
in the end,
easy to find
in the end, but
and
hard to fix.
And here we are, and we're in those situations, and we go, oh, what are we gonna do? And you know what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with, hey, what can you do?
What can you do?
You can do something. Decide what it is. Let's work together. Let's find the thing that you can do.
We always tell patients, it's you and I versus the thing that you're dealing with. And typically, we like thinking in threes and triads. We can find 3 underlying challenges that are your body's priority, that are driving your dis-ease, your symptom, your reason for being in our office today, your, major diagnostic dysfunction, whatever that is. A hyperactive thyroid didn't just happen overnight. And Is it bad thyroid? Shame on you, thyroid. Let's blow you up because you're acting the fool.
It's the backup
I mean,
system.
isn't that? I mean, that's kind of like the death penalty, right? Like we're just putting it to death because it's acting a fool. I mean, whoa.
As if it works on its own. As if it made that decision
on its own.
On its own.
I mean, I just don't think
that just doesn't happen very often.
Good idea.
It just doesn't happen very often, right?
What do you mean my gallbladder's got to get taken out? You know? Oh, you don't need it anyway. It's okay. What do you mean my spleen doesn't have a job and a purpose and a function? You can live without it. I'm pretty sure that for every surgery you have, you just eliminated years off your life. For every toxin that you allow to run rampant in your body, it robs vitality out of your cell. Every time you ignore those subtle symptom changes. I had a person the other day. They have a little bit of dry patch right here. They've got a little bit of eczema right under their earlobe. And I know what it is. And their body's excreting toxins and trash because it can't go out the appropriate channels. And the same person has a lot of swelling in their face and their body. It's like their body glows with this ooze, but it's not really wet. It's just, you can see that the body is, pushing junk out. And then you can listen to the patterns that they have in pain presentation and where it all shows up. And then you go to their history and you find out they've been on anti-cancer drugs for the better part of 20 years, living on toxins. Well, the body does the best it can right up until it can't because of nutritional deficiencies, because of mineral deficiencies, vitamin deficiencies, because the organs finally just have enough and this metaphoric straw breaks the camel's back. It's just a matter of time before the body...
The filter just gets too clogged.
That's right.
And that's what we get.
And that's where Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center shines. We literally step in with patients, providing an expertise to help them see what they can't see and lead them down the primrose path back towards the Vim, Vigor, and Vip, back towards the vitality, back towards the longevity that they've always wanted and always needed and deserve. And we have to help them at their speed, their pace. What works for you won't work for me. What works for Willie won't work for Gardy. We are all unique. God has a unique blueprint on your hand. He has a unique blueprint in your hair. Every tissue, cell, organ, gland was knit together in your mom's womb at some point in the prior time. A beautiful, wonderful picture of grace and opportunity to come into this world, but also here we are working on this vessel. We get to do this every day. Do you know how cool that is? It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing.
It's it's a privilege, right?
It's a privilege to work with patients, to be in that sacred space, to be in the trenches, to fight out what needs to be fought out, to discuss what needs to be discussed, to understand and grow together. Because, man, I had a mentor tell me one time, and it gives me goosebumps because, I couldn't fix her. And I was at, my wit's end. I wanted to fix her. More than anything, I was like, oh, I got to fix this patient. I got to, I. And God was saying, no. It ain't about you. You're just the vessel. Your job is to sit with them in the car and give them encouragement and let them learn too. It's not, the healing is on its way. He goes, I've given you the mercy through the plants, through my herbs. I've given you the mercy through the lifestyle modifications. But you wait for me to show up and heal you and heal that patient. Because you will grow because you were patient with them. They will grow because they were patient with the process. And it is just a humbling, wonderful experience to go down that journey with God's creation. And at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, it's a great privilege. It's an honor. And we love it. We love it.
We do, right? And one of the things, what I love is that we've talked about details, right? And we've talked about energy, and we've talked about God's gifts, and Chapa made sure everybody knew I'm older than he is again. And we looked at that, and I just have to share this story because yesterday was my birthday, and I got a birthday present that was out of this world, just absolutely out of this world. I don't think. I mean, God's gonna have to work really hard to step this one up. But yesterday morning, I got up and we had a early morning meeting, and it was 5 o'clock in the morning, and I have this this kind of deal with myself. I'm going to read one chapter of the Bible a day, every day, and I'm going to write at least one sentence about said chapter. And I got up yesterday morning at 5 a.m. with a, pretty steep agenda for the day that I had to get, I had to be somewhere at 6 a.m. So that's early for me. I don't like being somewhere before 9, so that was early. Not that I don't get up, I just have early morning routine. And so I get up and it's 5 o'clock in the morning. And this pattern I have, I read this one chapter a day. And by the way, for those of you who can read the Bible in a year, that's great, but I'm on a 3.5-year journey, and it's going to take me that long, and I'm okay with that. And I got up yesterday morning, and I looked at my deal, and I'm like, and I pick a book of the Bible, and I just go through that book, and I just randomly pick a book. Well, somewhere along the way, about 7 days ago, I had to pick a new book, and you know what Jennifer picked?
Numbers.
Yeah, you know the story. Numbers.
I just remembered you just posted something about numbers yesterday.
Numbers. I'm thinking to myself, when you pick your own book of the Bible to read, you should pick better when your birthday's coming up. Because numbers, that's what I got to sit here and, good luck with that, God. And that's what I just remember thinking, good luck with this one, but obedience I'm going to read. And so here was my gift. It's from Numbers chapter 6, starts at verse 22. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Tell Aaron and his sons to bless the people of Israel with this special blessing." And here was my gift. "May the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord smile on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord show you his favor and give you his peace." And I thought, I don't think anybody can top that today. That's a pretty doggone good gift. God promised to bless me, protect me, smile on me, be gracious to me, show his favor, give me peace.
What was that? Numbers what?
So it's the actual blessing is Numbers 6:24 through 26. And I was just so blown away that my God and my Creator gave me a flat-out birthday gift on my birthday. And I look. So then I go back to this morning and my son trying to take that picture. And the details are there. They've always been there. Your healing is there. It's always been there. We just have to tap into it. And the question is, can we see it? Can we see it? So I could have blown that off, gotten through my devotion, and not seen it for what it was. Because it was, anybody ever given you a card that read like that? No, nobody reads you. I got some pretty good cards yesterday. I got some pretty amazing cards. But I'm telling you, I could see what the people were giving me, what my friends were giving me in their wishes so much more clearly because I had already accepted God's gift yesterday morning. And that's what we strive to do, is to accept God's gift and just keep looking for the pieces, looking for the details. And if your eyes aren't open, it'll be right there and you won't see it.
You'll
and how many times in our own health and wellness journey, when you're trying to work on yourself, a lot of times you miss it.
That's right.
Because you need somebody, some
in the trenches
people
with you,
in there working with you, digging it out of you, helping you through it, not going to throw you off the cliff. People are like, well, I'm your problem patient. No, you're my best patient. I like problem patients.
And speaking of, tonight, 6:30 p.m. at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, we have a class, and we're going to be discussing your health. We have a tribe of people that want to learn and grow. We have a live class, a Zoom class, and we invite you to come and be live. There's something special about the live audience.
Wow.
And it's
we have more fun in the 30 minutes after the live class. So
Yeah.
that's the part you're going to miss if you
right.
do it on Zoom. But the information's there on the Zoom, and we encourage you to get it if you can't get it tonight. But that 30 minutes that we get to spend hanging out with with people that want to learn, want to grow, want to just strive to look for the details. Hey, I can't see the details right now. I need somebody in my life. I need people in my life. I need pastors. I need teachers. I need friends. I need people in my life that are going to say, it's okay that you can't see the details today. Let me show you. Let me show you. Let me send you the picture. Let me send you this. Let me make it so that you can see it.
And so tonight, 6:30 p.m., we hope to see you, Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center. And make sure you share this out with your friends, family, loved ones. We're so excited to share this information with you. You're going to love it. And Gardy, where can they find us?
So you can also go back and listen to this episode later today on the Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center podcast. I know on Apple Podcasts, you can just search Just Live Well. And then on the other one, just search the name,
That's right.
Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center. It will pop up. Make sure you subscribe. You'll get notified whenever there's a new one. And you can go back and listen to all the other ones, whether you're going on a road trip, whether you need something positive to listen to before going to bed, calming down, just refreshing. What did I hear today? There was a nugget in there.
Yeah.
There was, what was that Bible scripture?
It's there.
You can go back and go get refreshed. So I appreciate you guys.
Yeah. God bless you, man. See you soon, guys.
This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM.